Good morning. We're going to do getting ready for our moving lunch meal today. And I have for you, we're going to do a ground turkey vegetable soup. Super easy to put together and it's very budget friendly. Actually, yesterday I went and bought ground turkey and it was $1.89 a pound. So if you're going to compare that to hamburger or other ground meat, it's much, much more budget friendly for your family, and it's heart healthy. So that might be a good option for you. And I did start this. I got this turkey burger already browned up, and I added to it some chopped celery. And just a reminder to keep your celery, if you have celery in the refrigerator, take it out of the cellophane and put it in some aluminum foil. It's going to keep for weeks on end, a good 4 or 5 weeks in the aluminum foil as compared to just your cellophane wrapper or a plastic bag. So you want to keep it in there. It'll keep it nice and fresh. I chopped up some of that and put in. I also did an onion about this size, just a medium-sized onion to chop up and put in there. And then I added our herbs. So today we have some oregano leaves and some thyme. And neither one of these are very strong spices. So if you like that Italian taste, you can add a little bit more. So you can tailor it to your family's taste, whatever you like. I'm making a little bigger batch today, so I added a little extra. And I'll taste it when it's after it's simmered a little bit to see if I need to add anything else. So that's what I have ready in the pan here. It's the browned turkey, some celery, a little bit of garlic. The garlic, I buy minced garlic in oil. That way it doesn't take me long. I can just grab it. It keeps a really long time on hand in storage in the refrigerator. And it's so easy to just grab it and put it in a dish. So, and then onion and my spices. Now we're going to add the rest of the soup. So it calls for some chicken broth. So I've just ran off some warm water and added my chicken base. And so the chicken base I like to use is a paste. It comes in a jar like this. It's called Better Than Bouillon. It's a little bit healthier, has a little less sodium in it. And again, you can tailor it to your family's taste. It calls for 1 teaspoon per cup, but I never use that. I might use a tablespoon for a quart of water. And then we have some diced tomatoes, tomato paste. So we're adding that now. And then the last thing we'll put in are our frozen vegetables, frozen mixed vegetables. Again, you should watch for these. A lot of times they're on sale, like for 49 cents or maybe $1 at the most for that bag of vegetables. So now you can see we have a really nice hearty soup. So I'm going to put that on the stove to simmer. It'll simmer for about 30 minutes. So while that's cooking, we'll start mixing up the next thing that we're serving with our soup today. That is an egg salad wrap. Now I pre-boiled the eggs, the hard-boiled eggs. My trick is to put the eggs in cold water. I bring them to a boil them for about 10 minutes, shut it off, and I plunge them into cold water. And as soon as you do that, you drain off that hot water, get them in the cold or ice water. That helps that shell to come off and release easily so that you don't have problem peeling those eggs. There are some other tricks out there on the internet, but that seems to be the best one for me to use. Okay, so we have our hard-boiled eggs here. And again, it calls for that celery. And I pre-chopped our celery up. We'll add that. Calls for some light mayonnaise, or you might like Miracle Whip. Whatever your family's preference is fine. But if you can get the light one, you have half as many calories and half as much fat. And again, so if you're trying to manage your weight, if you're trying to lower your cholesterol, these are good hints that can help with that. The recipe calls for 4 tablespoons. So a little hint, 4 tablespoons is also the same as 1/4 cup. I'm adding more here today because I have a triple batch. We're anticipating a few people to stop in and eat today. We also have a little bit of apple cider vinegar. So a little bit of a sour taste, but also has a sweetness to it because of the apple cider. Add a little bit of onion powder here. I usually prefer to add the onion powder instead of real onions, just because some people, it's the texture that comes with that egg salad when it's in the wrap. Some people don't appreciate those little tiny raw onions, and so I like to put the onion powder in there, and that usually works pretty well with kids because they're more likely to eat it that way and not worry about those little tiny pieces of onion in there they might be trying to pick out. And then we have a little bit of mustard. Calls for a teaspoon, but I'm using a tablespoon because I have a triple batch. And there are 3 teaspoons and 1 tablespoon. So those little shortcuts to some of the measurements are helpful. Save you a little bit of time. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to add here is a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. And again, you can do that according to your family's taste. I like the sea salt. It's a little more natural. Has bigger grains, so you can add a little bit for taste, but you won't go overboard just because the grains are bigger. So it actually controls it naturally of how much you can pour on. And a little bit of pepper. And that's all there is to that egg salad. So that goes together very quickly. And then the secret now is we're going to go ahead and put that on a wrap, and I'll show you how to make the wrap. I'll just move things right over here. So remember, just food safety wise, whenever you're working with ready to eat food, you should have gloves on. You want to keep your food safe, especially if you're serving others besides your immediate family. So you start out with just having a whole grain wrap, and these wraps are from Dakota Crossing. You can look for them. It says whole grain tortillas. These have extra protein. The whole grains actually have more vitamin A and B vitamins. Those vitamin Bs are for our immunity. Our body is under more stress sometimes, especially during these months and during this time of COVID. So we want to make sure that we're getting plenty of those B vitamins. And so the whole grains help us not only to get those B vitamins, but also we're getting a little extra fiber, which helps keep us full longer and so that we're not hungry in between our meals. So that's a good hint. So you lay your wrap down, and then we're just going to take a little bit of egg salad. And we'll place it down the center of our wrap. And I always am looking for another way to add some more vegetables. So today we're going to add some baby spinach to this wrap. Not only can you get a few more vegetables and vitamins in here, but also it's eye appealing, and we do eat with our eyes, so we want to have things look really nice. So we just fold it over on the edges first and then go from the middle and wrap up. And there we have our wrap. And I'll go ahead and put this on the plate. For our meal today, we're going to add some green and red grapes because we want to have a fruit option along with our vegetable soup and protein wrap. And I'll go ahead and dish up some soup so you can see what that looks like. So there we have our meal today, turkey vegetable soup, our spinach wrap, and some red and green grapes. So this is actually a very diabetic friendly meal today for you. Hope you'll try our recipes, and we'll see you again back next week. Have a good day. I want to cut this. See, that looks just fine even if it's not.